really good one in the books for you guys today. So if you're new here, we are Pipeline Profits. I'm Emma. This is Ryan, and we discuss the best practices of sales and marketing in the real estate industry. We have a pretty big banger for you guys today, Ryan. Why don't you do a little sneak peek of our guest here?
Yeah. So today our guest is a partner at the Agency in Ottawa, as well as the host of Ottawa's #1 real estate podcast, the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast, which is going strong for almost 3 years at this point. It is the most listened to podcast in the Ottawa region for everything Ottawa real estate. Today we have Greg Campbell with us today to talk about sales and marketing. We're going to dig in. We're going to even dig in with him about how he leverages his podcast to get more business. So let's welcome Greg into the room now.
And we also have to mention that Greg was a Juno-nominated rapper, right?
Yeah.
And with an extensive background in the nightlife industry. So I'm sure we're going to get to discussing that a little bit today. We'll talk about some sales and marketing, but it seems like people who used to like to party become real estate agents.
Yeah, it's just it's the way it is, and I think they continue to party.
I think they continue to party too. Yeah. So it's funny. All three of us are here. We probably could have met at a nightclub in 2015, but here we are meeting on a real estate podcast in 2023.
Yeah. Thanks for the intro. That's I always get a kick out of hearing people introduce me. I feel like I'm so important.
You are important.
Like I'm successful and important.
You're important to us.
Important to you today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So let's talk a little bit about kind of your sales journey. You're obviously at the agency now, and I imagine you weren't just born and then all of a sudden at the agency. So let's talk a little bit about the transition from being a, Juno-nominated rapper.
Great story. I'll do like a brief synopsis of my life, I guess, as quick as I can, and then I'll focus more on the real estate side of it. Yeah. So I was born and raised in Ottawa, and then when I was, I guess, pretty young, like 15, I started rapping and got into music with my buddy Tom Green, who you probably know from comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was him and I, and then we did a lot of work. We did a lot of performances, and then that whole thing just kind of exploded. And our parents were cool enough to support us and open a lot of doors that wouldn't have been if they didn't want to participate in that. So we were very lucky for that. And then we ended up doing a lot of stuff. We had our big launch in Toronto years ago, and then nominated for Juno, and then won the music video award. And then quickly through the process, as quick as we came in, we just dissolved. We were young, and we were not on the same page. And I don't think management could get us to get back to that page. So I ended up leaving for Vancouver, where I worked in the nightclubs, and then I started producing more music. So I worked a lot with the West Coast, I guess back then you would have called it West Coast gangster rap scene. And I produced tons of music out of there. And this was before Spotify, so a lot of it's not even up on there, unfortunately. Yeah. Some of it is, but I worked with some pretty big names. I worked with Nate Dogg before he passed away, Nate Dogg and Corrupt, and some more West Coast guys that you may not know, Mac Mall, Be Legit. And I worked with Ice-T. I did a couple songs with Ice-T, which was pretty cool. And I had a band, I had a couple groups, toured in Europe. Yeah, anyways, I've done a lot of that. And then working in the clubs, working in the studio, doing that, it got a little bit hand to mouth at one point, and I was kind of like, I'm exhausted and I need to change. So I came back to Ottawa. My mom at that point had been in real estate for 20 years, I guess. She'd been in it for about 20 years. And they never thought I'd come back because I was gone for 11 years. And they said, and I said, listen, I want to come back and just see about this real estate thing. And I thought about it extensively because I had some friends in the business in Vancouver, and just working in clubs and just, getting to know people, being able to talk to people. Like I used to do security, so I was always good at resolving issues, confrontations. And it just seemed like a good fit since I knew how to talk to people so well. So I came back, sat down with my mom. I was her admin for a year while I did my courses. So that was hugely useful. And I recommend that if you have an opportunity and you're getting your license, if you have a chance to work part-time or even just not even part-time for free in a real estate office for a few hours a day or help somebody, just do it. Because by the time I had my license, I knew everything. I knew marketing, I knew admin, and I used to get a kick out of when new agents would come at first, a new agent would come into the office and they'd be asking me all these questions. And I would be like, why don't they know this? And I'm like, oh yeah, they just got their license. They don't know how to do any of this.
Yeah, they've never seen a piece of paperwork. They've never uploaded anything. They've never broker loaded. That's such an advantage and such a good piece of advice that I think you're the first person that's actually ever said that to me.
I want to rewind for 1 second. How'd you meet Tom Green?
We went to the same high school.
What was your rap name?
My name at the time was MC Pin. I was Pin and he was Bones.
Nice.
We were both super skinny. I met him when I was probably 14 and he was 17, I guess. And we just skateboarded all the time. And then one day he's like, do you rap? And I'm like, actually, I just started rapping. And I'd really gotten into it hard. And then we got together and he made all the music and so whatever, it just kind of took off. And it was kind of like a comedy rap group a bit, because we were always joking around and then parlayed into that. And I think at the time, as I was getting older, I was like, I didn't want to really do the funny shit anymore. So that's
so you guys were Pin and Bones. Did you have
Pin and Bones? Yeah,
I love it. What was your
the group
claim? What was your claim to fame track? What was the number one track?
Check the OR.
Check.
Oh, I remember Check the OR.
Yeah, that was us. Organized Rhyme. Check the Organized Rhyme. So yeah, that's it. That was wrote that when I was 17, long time ago.
Now the real question is, were you able to translate any of those celebrity connections into real estate commissions?
No. Too young and not focused enough. Yeah, that was like way before real estate. And even on the West Coast, sometimes I wish that I had have done it out there, but there's no way I would have got the experience out there than coming home and working with my mom,
Totally fair.
Yeah, but that's it. Tom, high school, skateboarding, rapping. Yeah, one of those things.
Skateboarding. So for parents out there that their kids are into skateboarding and they don't want them to be, skateboarding can lead to good things.
It's the gateway.
I grew up skateboarding as well. So
it's the gateway to becoming a realtor. So
it's the gateway to becoming amazing. It's the gateway to amazing. Yeah.
Amazing things in life. One question: you worked for your mom, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. Did she ever try to get you into real estate or pressure you to get into real estate earlier in life and you just weren't ready? Or
she didn't. But I will tell you what I did when she would have relocations or whatever, and the house was vacant. In the winter, I would shovel the driveways, and in the summer, I would do the landscaping, and I always delivered the flyers. Yeah, $10 an hour delivery. Hey, it's great.
You know what? That's actually a great start, and it gives you a little bit of context as to the kind of day to day. So maybe no pressure, but it was like a sleeper hit way to get involved, I guess.
That's it. But when I left, it was like I was never coming back. And then she was very surprised and happy. I don't even know how I never thought I could ever work with my mother, let alone come back and hang out. But then anyways, we came, you grow up a bit, you learn what's important and you make some changes. Yeah.
I was going to say during your rap years, you probably didn't envision it, but thereafter you're like, okay, this looks not like a terrible idea.
Exactly.
But tell us a little bit about kind of the first sale. Like, you were working in the office, getting, earning your stripes that way. But when did you transition over to selling?
The first sale, it's funny. I guess most people remember their first sale. It was a friend of mine from high school that I reconnected with. He was a mortgage rep at TD, and I can't even remember. No idea how we reconnected. Because I think, Facebook, I guess, would have been out. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe Facebook would have just been out like 2006, 2007, I guess. Yeah. So he, anyways, I probably posted up and we connected somehow and he gave me a referral to some friends of his out in the country. And we went in, my mom and I, but I handled most of the transaction. And it's funny because the transaction actually, it went pretty smoothly from what I remember. There was a few things, but it's also like your first deal. It's rural. I'm all septic, water, no idea. And that was something
complex deal.
Intriguing because I hadn't, I'd been to some of those with my mom, but being on my own, the majority of the deal and her just kind of helping me, it was a lot. So I will admit it was a little bit stressful, but it's one of those things. The deal, it went down pretty well. I don't think that I was aggressive enough at the time on maybe getting my clients the most money. I've always thought that in my head for whatever reason. I always thought I probably could have just hustled that a little bit more and got them a little bit more paper for that. But anyways, in the end, they were happy and it's a great couple and we got them another house in another area. So, yeah.
So I have a question about that. A relatively complicated deal for your first deal. Obviously, you were fortunate enough to be able to have the mentorship, or at least an outlet for the confidence of making the right decision with your mom. How critical was that at the beginning of your career in terms of having her as an outlet to kind of like bounce ideas off of?
Oh, it was amazing. Like, you can't put a price on that. To have somebody that's been doing it for, and at that point she was doing big numbers. Like, that was, I joined right when she was like, I guess I would say for her career, kind of like at the end of the peak. Like, she had a couple years where it was just crazy, and then she started cooling down a bit after I came in to help out on her own. So it was like, yeah, she had an answer for everything. Just the answer she had. And I mean, even stuff with her follow-up and, running her book and just, letters, anniversary letters, thank you cards and all that kind of stuff. She was really big on that. Side note to that, I made the mistake of stopping doing that at some point, and I don't know why I did, but I stopped doing that, and it was a huge mistake.
Would you say that was the biggest piece of real estate advice you ever got from your mom, or lesson that you learned, was how to properly nurture your database?
Part of it. And this is when here's an idea for some people out there that might not do a lot of this, or they only do emails and they don't do cards and stuff like that. Cards are killer, I think, like personal cards. And if you have a folder in it, you have a folder with each month in it. And then what you do is when you get a deal done, you write the anniversary card the same day and you put it in and you just leave it. You're going to write the same thing a year later. If not, you can change it after, but it's there. So every time you do a deal, you put the card in the thing, and then the year comes up, you just look at the month, you pull out all your cards, you put stamps on them, and you mail them out. And then you do another one for the following year.
That's a
really good tip.
So that's like, that way you're just nonstop, and you're always at least getting that one touch, like buy a card a year. I mean, everybody likes getting cards. It's kind of corny at times, I think, but it's nice to get.
I think everybody, it's like, the classic saying, what is old is new again, right? And it's kind of like everybody loves to get something in the mail now because they never get it. And all it is email. So I wholeheartly believe in that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it works well, and I'm kind of back on that boat a lot lately, and just trying to find new ways to do stuff as well.
What do you think took you away from doing what was proven to work for you in the past?
I think I got really caught up in the digital side of things. I got really caught up in email drips and the new CRMs and trying all that stuff and being like, no, this isn't the way anymore. We're going to do this now. And just, I mean, it happens. It's like you said, like what's old is new again. I was talking to someone the other day about social media and how I've kind of stepped back personally, and I'm kind of over social media in a way. Like, I know it's important, but I just find that it's taken too much time and too much energy. I do respect that a lot of people do it well, and they get a lot of their business from it. But I just find on a personal level, for me, I'm a little worn out, and I'm actually changing my personal Instagram page to a business page only for me and my team partner.
So you're gonna have no personal footprint.
I'm probably gonna throw it in there a bit, just because I think it's nice to have a little bit of that, even though it's a business page. People knows like I'm still human, but I'm not gonna have. It's not gonna be like, oh, Greg Campbell, this is what I'm doing. It's gonna be all real estate related. My music stuff's going to go on another page. I mean, I've got like almost 7,000 followers on there, so it just kind of makes sense if I'm going to use. I don't want to start a new business page if I already have that.
Yeah, totally. I just want to ask one question about the automations, because I know that you mentioned like you went heavy on the digital, kind of gave up what we would consider analog in the music world, right? How are you finding your business now? Like, because you're a leader, are you really heavy on training your team to do more automations to take care of some of that heavy lifting on the digital side? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's interesting because I don't necessarily have a team right now. Like, I've had a small team, which what you just said is exactly the plan. I've kind of just done a lot of solo work, which has given me the freedom to do other stuff like help out with management and that sort of thing. When I started working with my mother. We worked at Coldwell Banker for 6 years together. Then I had an opportunity. I got connected with two other guys through someone at Remax who had he was a Tom Ferry coach. One of his students, I guess you could say, wanted to build a team in different cities. He started with Ottawa because the coach was the manager of our Remax office at the time. So he goes, I'm going to talk to three guys and I'm going to put a team together. He called me, called another guy who I kind of knew, and someone else. And we put together this crazy rock star team called the Greater Ottawa Group. So we did that, and that only lasted 12 months because it was just madness. There was no real lead. I mean, Brad was the lead, but it wasn't done well because he wasn't always in the city. So doing it virtually just became, and virtual, I mean, even back then, that was probably 2016, I guess. So it just wasn't as popular as it was now, you know. So he would come in, pump us up, and but I think we sold 96 homes in 11 months that year, which was pretty wild. And that was 3 of us doing the bulk of the business. There was one other, but they weren't as active. And so that was my experience of learning how quickly a team can begin, and then how quickly a team can fail, and what to do and what not to do. So my whole thing was, if I ever do a team, I don't want to fuck it up, basically. And I've always had this kind of, again, it's not like a fear, but I just don't, I want it, everyone that I'm working with, I want to be able to take them in and make sure that I can give them everything that they need, and that we're going to do it the right way. And of course, we know we all make mistakes, right? But learn as you go. So right now, finally, now that I've got everything else out of the way, I finally met someone who I want to partner with, and we've partnered up, because that was also important to me. I didn't want to just be one person leading a team. I wanted to have somebody that I could do it with, because I've been doing this a while, and I have other things that I want to do as well. So I wanted to make sure that I had a partner that we could work together with the agents. And now that I have that, and Ryan, I think you might have met him the other day, and Luca. So it's just better now, and we have everything kind of in place so that we won't make a lot of mistakes that we could have if we started it loosely earlier, especially being in the business for a while and having a lot of great people to talk to about building a team. So right now we're starting to build that out. And we're going to keep it small for now, and see where it goes. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, but to answer your question, to get back to that, that's exactly right. Like, it's, admin, a couple of agents that can do the grunt work, and whereas we can just focus on bringing in more business for us and for them, and build more coaching and training.
Do you think that team that you were with, do you think that was the biggest miss, is that there wasn't that coaching, training, and accountability? Like, you guys were doing a ton of deals, but do you feel like that was the miss there? That wasn't, the glue holding you together and creating culture to, keep that team moving forward? And,
all of us were basically lions. So it was a lot. Like, it was like some type of organized chaos, I guess. Like, we had a lot of
egos.
Yeah. A lot of strong personalities. And yes, accountability, I think, is, it's the number one thing for a lot of people. I mean, I've had real estate coaches in the past, but the most success I've had is when I hired an accountability coach a few years ago. And that was just for life. Like, that was for, what do you want to do? And it was like, business, personal, music. And it really helped me work out my schedule well and, hit those targets.
For any listeners, how did you go about differentiating that you needed that person? Like, I needed an accountability coach for my life versus my business. Like, what was that? How do you walk yourself through that?
Because I found, this is probably harsh to say, but everybody goes through this, I guess, with like mentors and coaches and stuff. You go through a lot until you find the right one, and it's very hard to find the right one. I worked with 2 Tom Ferry coaches. At the time, Tom was just starting to get really hot, and I wanted to try it. So I tried it, and I just wasn't vibing with the coach. You know what I mean? And I'm a person, I like talking to people, and I like giving time. Like, I don't, even if I feel it's cut and dry, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to work with this for a bit, because I'm committed to it, the process. And then it was just too easy for me not to be motivated for the calls anymore, and for me not to want to do what they wanted to say. And some of the stuff that the Tom Ferry coaching platform does, it's not really for me either. And they always keep pushing that. So I learned that what was the worst thing is that, I had a coach for 2 months, and then he was gone. He wasn't coaching anymore. So then I got a new coach. So then I'm building this rapport with this new guy who I kind of like more. And then he's gone in 6 weeks. I got a new one, and I was like, I'm out of here, man. I'm like, I can't do this. And then, similar to, you guys can relate to this, similar to having a new ISA, and then having another new ISA, and then having another new ISA.
Yeah, except for it's on the other side where you're like, hey, you're just getting to know my business, and I feel like we're starting to get into a groove, and I kind of need to lean on you as an outlet to help kind of guide me up. Yep. With an ISA, it's like, okay, I have my systems and processes to be able to get you trained up, and I realized where I went wrong on this last one. But with coaching, it's, which side of the coin is it? So I can imagine that was very frustrating. It's like, finally we're getting into a good groove where you understand what I'm trying to do here, and I have to re-explain myself again. What are we doing here?
That's it. You know what I mean? And they look at the template, or, what you've been doing, what you haven't been doing, how the calls have gone, because they all have notes and everything. But it's just, I just found it dried out. And I wasn't really a fan. I've been to like some, conferences, I guess, seminars and stuff with some other coaches, leaders. And I mean, you always get at least one or two good pieces from it. But, I found I kind of put my own thing together. So again, like, I'm at that point, and I was telling Ryan the other day, I built an ebook for new agents that I'm getting ready to launch. I'm pretty excited about that, because it's like, again, and it's relating to what I was saying earlier about how you're not ready when you get licensed if you haven't been in the business at all. So that's cool. That's what made me do this. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But I
was just gonna say, that's a really good point. Like, I always think the best coaches are someone who are coaching based off life experiences they have had that can benefit others in some way, or things they have done. And, whereas, from my standpoint, one of the holes in the coaching industry is that a lot of the coaches haven't even done what you're trying to achieve, especially with a big organization like Tom Ferry. Like, a lot of their coaches they've just been in the Tom Ferry program. It doesn't mean they've built a team or been a big producer. That you may already be a better producer than they've ever been. And they're just taught to ask questions and have you come up with the answer. But, I found the same thing. I've struggled recently with finding that next right coach, because I wasn't able to. I think I found it now, but I wasn't able to find someone who had the relevant experiences to help me get to where I wanted to go next.
And it's hard, man, because if you've had, like, I'll call it a colorful life like I've had, it's hard to find somebody where I can relate to them on that level as well. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what happened when I met my current partner. And he's much younger than me, but when I met him, it was just like an instant, like, he gets it. Like, him and I are connected. You know what I mean? And I find it so rare nowadays. Like, you know what I mean? When you meet somebody when you're older that you actually become friends with, it's amazing. It's not like when you're a kid, you're just trying it out to see what works. But you have to jive in such a way. And I found with the accountability coaching, it was really cool, because it inclined me to work with this company. It was called Commit Action. I'm not working with them right now. I'm probably going to go back. All of the coaches they have like psychology degrees.
Cool.
Which I thought was, I'm like, they're like, yes, just so you know, all of our coaches went to schools, and like, they have to be the top. They're like, we get like something silly, like we get 4,000 applications and we hire 10 people like in the last year or something like that. I'm like, geez, that's cool. So when you're like working with them on the call, I find that they really listen, so that the next question, what I mean, good people that are just good on the phone, where you think you might have them, and then all of a sudden they'll throw something on you, you're like, shit, and then you really got to think. You got to think about what's important and what you're doing. So I really like that. Commit Action, for anyone that wants to check out a great coaching program. It's very cool.
I really like that you brought up, and I think you also kind of alluded to this too, Ryan, but I do think that specifically in our industry, sometimes we get too caught in the real estate bubble, and we're like, I need to find somebody within this bubble. And I think once you hit a certain level within real estate, it's really important to start looking at things outside of the real estate industry. So other industries, how do they do it? Is there anything that I can use as inspiration or take from the way that you run your business outside of real estate and bring it into real estate? And I think, it makes sense. Like, the Tom Ferry coaching and all of that kind of stuff can make a lot of sense, especially for newer agents, to give you some structure, to give you some accountability, et cetera, et cetera. But I think at some point in time, either you outgrow those coaches, or you're not on the same, you're not in alignment. And I still think that there's a portion or a time frame in a career where it's worthwhile to look outside of our industry for inspiration, to be able to kind of build something different than anybody else has done as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think like everyone needs something different at a different stage in their career and a different stage in their life. And that's why, like, I love Greg's book that's really focused on the brand new agent, because he realized he had all of this experience as an admin before he became an agent. He wants to be able to share all that he learned early on in the process. And like, then they'll get some experience and they'll start producing. And then maybe they need another program or another coach or another form of training. I think that's a really good point. Now, seeing as we're on the coaching topic, and this is a podcast about sales and marketing. So obviously you had a background, interacting with a lot of people, being social, working in nightclubs, working in the music industry, so on and so forth. Where did you get any, or did it come naturally, get your sales training? Or how do you feel like you became a great salesperson to be able to have the type of success that you have?
Yeah, it's a really great question, because I have like specific sales training. I don't really have any. And it's funny because every time I get into a sales training scenario, traditional sales training, it's not my thing. And you know what? And I don't know what it is. Like, I mean, I have my way that I do thing, and I don't like to say, I mean, we're salespeople. I don't like that term for our industry. I'm like, I consider it like more like a guide, I'm here to guide you. I'm going to give you the information.
Advisor, a consultant.
I'm an advisor. You're going to make the decision. Like, the only thing that I find that you learn when it comes to the sales part of the transaction, and knowing when you need to step in and maybe use the term sell your client on whatever's happening, is when absolutely confirm that they are making a mistake if they don't do this right now. And I love that element of it. I always get excited when I'm like, okay, I have to interfere here now, because if I don't do it, they're going to be screwed on either side of it, right? It also takes time, I find, to get the allegiance from your clients. So, I mean, so there's some people, like, I know a lot of agents who are just like sales, go, and that's fine. It's not exactly my style, but in terms of like your question, like specific sales training, no, I just kind of went into it and just started doing it, Then it's just communication.
Yeah. And I think the point that you made there around like knowing when they're making a mistake and being more of a guide or an advisor, good salespeople aren't actually ever selling, but they do know how to influence the decision maker to help them make the right decision for them at the right time, leveraging, we'll call them sales tactics. I don't know that, but just to influence, to get them to make the decision that we as the advisor or consultant know that they should make, right? Yeah. And so it's learning how to influence them at that time to help them make and not miss out on opportunities or whatever it may be. So listen, I'm actually going to put a challenge out there. I think me and Emma can change your mind on sales training, because we do it a little differently.
And I'm down. I'm down with that. I'm down. I'm sure.
So I think we can change your mind.
I haven't looked at it in years. So I mean, I'm down.
You know what? You said something though that I think is really critical for anybody that could potentially be listening that maybe doesn't have formal sales training, because I think sometimes, like, when we ask you that question, you're like, nah, I don't really know. Like, and then you start questioning yourself, like, am I really that good? You know what I mean? Like, when someone asks you that type of question. But the thing that you said that was so critical was, it's really easy for me to make a sale when I have conviction behind the thing that I'm trying to get across. Yeah. And I think that is really the underlying thing. And that's one of the challenges that I see with new agents, is someone will ask them for advice when we're talking about being an advisor or a consultant, and they're so petrified of giving their opinion or their advice because they don't have conviction or confidence in the answer that they're giving. And so whether or not you have formal sales training, Ryan and I have a certain opinion about it, whatever anybody's opinion is, the easiest way for you to be able to make a sale is for you to truly have belief in the thing that you're selling, because it comes across in the way that you deliver it, right?
100%. You have to have the courage to make that move and be convicted to saying it. I mean, it's like anything in life, right? Once you're in that flow and you're like, this is it, it comes across, and people will generally almost always listen to. And the thing that I find can get agents into trouble if they don't have that courage and they don't do those things, what will happen is, if you go through the process with your clients and some bad decisions happen, or you don't interfere and they just kind of after they lose a deal or something like that, then they're upset. They talk to friends and family, and then they're like, oh, well, why are you working with them? If at least you need to just say what you want to say regardless. Don't be afraid to do it. because you need to let them make that mistake if they're going to make a mistake.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, and I agree with you on that. It's like you have to have a position when it comes to advising your clients. It can't be wishy-washy, because if it's wishy-washy, it doesn't matter what outcome they choose.
Exactly.
If it's the wrong one, it's your fault.
Yeah.
So you better just make a decision, because 9 times out of 10, and I think you learn this, and you've seen this being in the industry for so long, it's like once you have a track record of making the right choice over and over and over again, that's how you really build your confidence. And you don't, you're not 100% perfect all the time, but I would say for the three of us on this call, because we've been in the industry for a decade plus for the most part, you can feel pretty confident on the decision that you're making, and to be able to stand on one position, and 9 times out of 10, your clients are like, thanks for the advice. That was actually the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, I want to know, I mean, you're 15 years in the industry, right? So you probably have a couple crazy stories. Are there, is there anything that kind of comes to mind for like a crazy showing that you've done, or like a crazy agent that you've dealt with on the other side during a negotiation?
Oh yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So I mean, I don't have a lot of like crazy stories. I got one that was pretty funny. I got a power sale. It's funny you mentioned that. I just thought of this right now. I haven't thought of this forever. I got a power sale, and I was informed like it was a crack house. And I'm like, great, let's go. So I go over with my buddy, and who wasn't an agent. He was actually the banker that got me the lead, right? So he's like, I want to go with you. I want to see the crack house. I'm like, all right, let's go. So we go in, and it's like this little, this small little tiny home, and disheveled. And we go inside, and there's just stuff everywhere. Like they just left the house. So you're looking around. It's like the dirty mattress that's like looks like it's 10 years old and has had hundreds of people sleeping on it. You just got garbage. You've got like the little raver backpack. You've got like condoms, like all sorts of just crazy shit. And then so we're laughing, and then we're going, well, let's go downstairs, and it's like it's a century old, this home. So we go down into the cellar, like the basement, right? It's like it's unfinished stone, smells damp, it's dark. We go in there, and we're looking around the room, and like there's not too much there, but then there's like right at the back of the house, there's this door. There's just like the stone, and then there's this closed door, and it's dark, and we're like, oh shit, this is like some type of it's like the Blair Witch Project or something. Like, what's behind the door? What's behind?
Naturally, you open the door.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, so my buddy's tripping, and I'm like, we're going, man, we're opening the door. So we open the door, and there's like one light bulb you can see it. There's no light in the room. It's like the cold storage or whatever. So pull on the light switch, the light bulb goes on, it's all creaking and shit. And I look down, and there's about 100 Polaroids all turned upside down. Can't see any of the pictures. So I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, what is on the Polaroids? Anyways, we get ourselves together. We turn them over, and it was nothing crazy or anything, but it was just the, Polaroids of the just people, all walks of life and everything. I'm just like, what? I'm like, why were they positioned all upside down? Like, what went on in this house that made someone have these pictures, lay them all out, and just make me like a horror story? But it's like the kind of thing that you could put in like some type of film, which you could make very creepy doing that. So I always got a kick out of that one.
I can only imagine the feeling that you must have felt when you turned the light on, and then you were like, the first Polaroid, like, what are we pulling?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
What are we going to see? What are we going to see?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. But what a great, like, you could put that in a film. It would be wild.
Yeah.
I love that story. I was totally bought in mentally in that story. I've been in way too many of those basements that I can smell the smell sitting here.
The uncomfortable basement.
Yeah.
We're just totally. Like, well, I'm here. It's okay.
The real question is, did you sell that property?
I did sell it, and the guy took it and he renovated the whole place. It looks amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he put any of the Polaroids behind the wall, or do you
maybe he may have. They may still be there.
You didn't have to clean up the Polaroids yourself.
Yeah, no, we God, what happened with that? That's funny. I don't even remember. No, I think we did clean it out. Yeah, we did. We had a junk removal. They came and took everything. Yeah. For a minute I was thinking like as is. No, we got it out of there.
Now moving a bit on to the marketing aspect, we talked about that a bit earlier with nurturing and you getting away from some of the traditional and wanting to go back to it. I mean, I know obviously one of the ways that you do market yourself is doing what we're doing right now. So I wanted to hear a little bit about your journey with, podcasting and starting the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast and how that came about, as well as, obviously it's a bit evident that coming from a music career, it makes sense. But tell us a bit about the journey and how that happened and so on and so forth, and what it's done from a marketing standpoint for your real estate business and how difficult it was to get there. Because, every agent's like, I want to start a podcast, but how do they turn it into business?
Yeah, I mean, it takes time. So my buddy Paul, who does the podcast with me, I do with Paul and Dave, they're both mortgage agents. And me and Paul started a podcast in 2015 called Growcast, where we would interview business owners.
Yep.
So we did that, and that was like way before, anything. I think I was running mics and recording it in GarageBand or something. And so that was a great experience. And we did it all, on site. We interviewed some great people. I think we did 10 episodes. And then God, why did we stop? Anyways, it was busy. I mean, I had, when you got two young kids and everything, and you're trying to run a business, and like the podcasting just kind of came second. So we stopped that. But that was really good for getting a little bit of a reputation in the city for helping out and kind of kickstarting that industry. Because a lot of people, there was hardly anyone doing it from Ottawa at the time that we knew of. And then in I guess when the pandemic hit. Oh, and I'm sorry. Step back. So we started out of that. We started the it wasn't even called the Ottawa. It was called the Friday Wrap Up, and we would do it at their office live. We would live stream on our own pages from our iPhones with no mics. So it's the sound. It was actually not bad, but it was, brutal compared to what we're doing now. So we ran that for probably another 6 months, and then we stopped that. The pandemic hit, and then I automatically started a podcast called the Pandemic Personally podcast, where I interviewed people and business owners about what they were going through.
Wow.
When everything kind of shut down. I did like 30 episodes in about 4 months. It was crazy. And then I had to stop because that was just ridiculous. It was a lot of work, and it was a lot of just deep conversation. So it was pretty heavy. And I was interviewing business owners from all over, and like people in the US, Canada, like whatever, like all different types of business entrepreneurs. Out of that, we kind of decided we were going to start the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast again, but we were going to go all in. So I started doing it myself, similar to what you guys are doing now on StreamYard. I was using something called Ecamm. So I was sitting there, with the Stream Deck, doing all the stuff, doing the graphics and everything. And then after a while, I was like, I can't concentrate on myself, because it was just a lot, my business, my family, everything. I'm like, I was just getting anxiety queuing up to do it. So congratulations to you, Emma, for dealing with this kind of stuff on your new journey. I imagine you will stop doing this because you're doing it all on your own, right now?
Our assistant's gone this week, so.
Okay. So you do have someone helping you.
I'm pretty particular about building automations and SOPs into things. So as we go through, I feel like every week we're adding a little something extra to the workflow. You know what I mean?
And you will, and that's good. So anyway, then we hired somebody, and he started producing the show, which has been great. And he does all the edits. He posts it up on YouTube, does the write-ups and everything. And then for the first 12 months, I guess, we were running ads all the time. And that got us more followers, just got us, in front of more people. And then after
were you running the ads, if you don't mind me asking?
Facebook.
Okay.
We were doing all Facebook ads. Yeah, I don't think we even hit Google at all. Facebook and some Instagram stuff, but mostly Facebook. And we, gained traction. Then we started getting some leads. And then we just decided to pull off for a bit, and we have pulled off. We haven't gone back on. I want to start running them again, just because I want to get the numbers up. But the leads started coming in, and it was great because they were just, like I said off screen here before, that they were just calling saying, like, we've been watching the show for the last 6 months. We want to work with you. So there's no interview process. It's like, can we just meet at your office or whatever? And then you meet them. They're like, yeah, you're hired. Like, that's it. There was no, which is huge.
Just so I have some context around the show. So the show is predominantly for end users. So buyers or sellers, and you're using it as a lead generation mechanism for your own personal business. And then what you would do is you would run an ad on Facebook. Is the ad typically for, like, an episode, like for them to actually be able to watch the video and then be able to sign up as a lead thereafter? Like, is that how it works? Okay, cool.
And I had a great thought. I totally lost it.
Sorry about that. I was trying to figure out the work.
That's all right.
You were saying before I cut you off that someone would sign up for a lead, and they were saying, you know,
and
they're already qualified.
Yeah. So, I know what I was going to say. So initially the show was kind of like, let's set this up for the public so they can see and know what's going on in real estate. And our assumption was that it was going to be mostly buyers and sellers, right? But the majority of our audience is mortgage brokers and real estate agents. So, you know, that doesn't pay the bills, but it also gives us a voice, and we get to be recognized as, information for other people working in the city, especially newer agents, which could convert to, you know, maybe someone working with us down the road.
Right. And that's where I was going to go with my question is, I guess you are relatively local, but have you noticed that you're starting to build relationships with other agents who potentially maybe have referrals or something like that for you as well? Yeah,
we're starting to deal with more of that, and we're going to be looking to have more national YouTube realtor guests on. Like I'm already talking to some people that you guys would you've seen, like Steve Sereski, Michael Pfeiffer in Regina, and Nolan Matthias out of Toronto. He's the mortgage guy, and
he's actually scheduled to be on this podcast as well.
Oh,
so
sweet.
We'll do the rounds. I a good amount of time with him last year in Orlando.
Cool.
He's a great guy, and just a wealth of knowledge, that guy.
Yeah, he's amazing. I've been watching him for a long time now, and he's always on. Like, he's on point. His production quality is great. Like, he knows what's up for sure.
He takes his business very seriously. I can say we were together for 3 full days in Orlando, and like clockwork, he'd be like, "All right, I got to bounce out. I'll be back in an hour." And his video was done, edited, and amazing content, but he does not miss. Like, he takes it very, very seriously. He's someone that I very highly respect when it comes to content creation. He does not mess around.
Yeah, that's great. What was I going to say? So the show, and then for the, you know, we had somebody creating reels for us, reels and shorts for a while. We didn't really find that helped too much. I mean, you just got a lot of plays, but it didn't really bring any results, which I thought was really interesting. Views, but no solid, like no business out of it. But now I just found a new app. I don't know if you guys heard about this. It's called Get Munch, and it does that for you. And the AI, the technology is crazy. So it would take this video, and it would actually pick out like the most important elements, and it would start and stop them exactly when they started and when they stopped, without us even having to, you know, look for the timestamp and figure out where it was and everything. And then it does all the subtitles. You can either work with that, or you can put it into something else if you wanted to make it look a little bit different. But that's another thing that we're trying to get our producer to work on, instead of just paying some guy on Fiverr to do that. Right? We got this app. Just throw every episode in and dump it out. And then it's like less cost. I think it's like $50 a month or something.
Totally. Yeah. And that's kind of the similar type of workflow to what we have. And I actually think that's having hired so many people and gone through so many testing phases and iterations through business. I really think the best way to go about it, or this is what Ryan and I have kind of figured out, is, you know, finding a couple of pieces of I don't think software and AI, like I'm big on AI. I think everyone is like, oh, it's going to take over our jobs. I'm like, I don't think it's going to take over our jobs, but I think what happens is it's like this intermediary of, hey, I need to go hire someone to do this. I'm going to find a piece of software and I'll figure out what the workflow is between me and what needs to be done. And you are now responsible for 3 pieces of software. And here's the SOP and the workflow on how to use the software to get the biggest output. So that's, you know, that's like a kind of a short synopsis of how we've been developing the sales training company that Ryan and I are working on. And a couple other projects we have in the background is like one person for a couple pieces of software. We figure out the software and the workflow, and then just plug them into it on the other side.
I can't wait to see that. Train me.
I shall. Yeah. I think that's kind of more the way of the future, right? Like, I don't think AI is going to take over. I think people who know how to use the tools really well.
That's what I was going to say. Like, if you, the biggest problem that people have is fear, and the ones that will fail and be sad are the ones that fear it and don't take action on anything, right? We know that.
100%.
The AI stuff is great, because if you can learn to use it for you and leverage that, you're going to be hugely successful.
Yeah. And I mean, especially like, we're solopreneurs as real estate agents, right? And how many real estate agents they're so scared to spend money, and everybody wants an assistant, but they're freaked out. Like, what do I get them to do? And all this stuff. And it's like, there are so many tools that are at our disposal. Like, and I'm talking in the last 6 months that I could have only dreamed of having when I first started as a new agent. Like, to me, there's absolutely no excuse for somebody to say, I don't have an assistant or I don't have systems or operations, because for $150 a month for a cell phone, for the cost of this cell phone every single month, you can have an assistant pretty much. It might not be a human, but you can definitely set things up relatively easily for now. So to me, there's no excuse for not having that stuff in your business today.
I mean, we've been using a virtual admin for a while now, and it's just been great. I love the idea of having someone in office full time, but we just decided, let's just try this, and it's been absolutely amazing. Everybody needs that help when you get to a certain place, because I mean, you guys know, once you get there, the way that you do better is to have help.
Totally. And it's,
leveraging to scale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And always testing, like you said, testing is key. It blows my mind sometimes when I think about how many softwares or how many things demo. Yes, demo. I want the free demo. Let me run through it. And then, you go through 10 things and you hopefully you find one that does what you want to do, but it's so crazy. There's so much out there.
You made me think of, so I listened to a podcast a little while ago, and what you just said made me think of this analogy that they had used. And it was like, people are just so scared to get started because if there's 10 steps that need to happen, they're thinking about, well, I don't know how to do step 1, but I don't know how to do 2 to 10. And the podcast essentially said, it was an example that the guy was giving about selling his car. And he's like, well, I've never sold a car on Facebook Marketplace, for example. And he's like, okay, well, here's what I'm going to suggest that you do. What needs to happen for you to sell the car? He's like, oh, well, I got to detail it, and I got to take pictures of it, and I got to do all this stuff. And he's like, okay, what's the first step? He's like, go clean your car. And he's like, well, after you clean your car, come back here and we'll have a conversation about what you should do next. And everybody's so worried about, well, what are my pictures going to look like? And I don't have a camera and I can't do all this stuff. And it's like, dude, just fucking clean the car first. And then when the car is clean, you'll be like, all right, I'll take some pictures. Maybe there's shitty cell phone pictures and whatever, but you still got pictures nonetheless. And then you can put up the ad. And it's like, the only reason why all of us are here having this conversation today is because we all just tried shit. Most of it didn't work. Some of it did work. Yeah. That's why we're here today.
I love what you said there. It reminds me of the, was it Gary Keller that wrote the book, The One Thing?
Yes.
You guys saw that? You read that?
Yeah.
Anyways, it reminds me of that, right? Because it's the one thing. And a lot of the times, if I find that I have too much going on, for some reason, it just clicks in my head. I'm like, I'm an idiot. I'm like, what am I doing here? Just do this, throw this shit away until this is done, Get to the next step when the first one is done. But sometimes you're just so scattered. You're just trying to do everything at once and it doesn't work.
I think it's a lesson that you need to learn every 3 months, regardless of where you're at. You could be brand new. You could be 15 years into it. Every 3 months you need to learn, hey, stop freaking overthinking this shit and just do the next step.
It's easy to forget. It's easy to forget, and you start, especially with habits, it's easy to get your bad habits back if you don't keep them in check. Every day, or at least acknowledge that this used to happen. Don't do that again, right?
Totally. 100%. If I'm listening to the podcast, what are the 3, if I'm a new agent and I'm listening to the podcast, what are the 3 habits that you think you would implement right away to help kind of see some results?
In real estate or in life or in both?
Both. Because I
guess
think
it's just an open question. I can answer it how I'd like. Yeah.
Real estate and life, I think, are kind of intertwined. So whatever
I think for me, especially as I got older, I'm huge on morning routines. I have a very strict structure that I don't miss at least Monday to Saturday. Sunday, I may just not do it in the same way, but I have something that I follow. So that's kind of but that's more for, whatever you're looking for. I'm just saying, if you have a morning routine and you have certain things in place that you take care of, the rest of your day would be great. And that could be, just getting up, reading 2 articles on Inman, on the Inman site or something like that, or searching what happened in real estate yesterday, knowing the stuff, taking some notes. If you're doing content, find the latest news, write it down, get a script in your teleprompter, put it in your app, and deliver the content. If you can get into the habit of doing that, I think you'll be wildly successful, especially as a new agent. It may take a year, but as long as you have it, you'll get there. And I have a friend who's been doing that now for almost a year and a half, and it's taken a while, but his videos are crazy, and he's finally starting to get traction from that. So, I mean, you know, be social. Don't be afraid of doing the wrong thing. You know, be confident in what you're delivering. If you fuck up, whatever, just get over it. I know that's a hard thing too, especially in our world today where everybody's got so much getting thrown at them. It's easy to get depressed or get set off course by not being around the right people as well, I suppose. But just try to keep your head strong and clear, which is why I'll go back to having a good morning routine, because if I don't have my morning routine, I'm a mess. Like, I'm just, you know, my day is just, I can't deliver the same way at all. Other than that, just really find a strong mentor and coach when you're starting. That's I think that's the most important part. And also be aware that if you feel in your heart that you're not getting everything that you need from them, don't be afraid to tell them, see you later, and go try somebody else. That's also, be convicted in that comment as well, because, you know, new agent, like, oh, I'm scared to say, like, no, I don't want to work with you anymore. It's like, no, man, tell them, let them know, or let them know what you're really looking for. And maybe you can figure it out from there. But just, and like you said earlier, I'm just testing, always be testing, find something new, research what's the newest in real estate, try to build your own stuff as well while you're going through the process with your mentor, with your team. Yeah.
Dude, I've been there so many times where it's like you're spending money on things because you're just way too afraid to have a conversation. And I think I wish that what you just said, I learned that lesson way earlier in my career, because now I'm at a point where I'm like, all right, shit's not working. Like, let's just cut it off. But I've spent way too much money, and I've given way too much leeway and rope to people in my life, where if I would have just had the confidence to kind of nip that in the bud a little bit earlier, I could have bought back a lot of my time and saved a lot of my money and reinvested it into something else, or tried other shit. And if it went, and the thing is, even if the money went to waste, it doesn't matter because it was going to waste anyways. So I might as well have tried something else, right?
I agree with that.
I love that. I love that, man. I think that's like a massive bomb that is probably going to be overlooked by a lot of people. And if they just learn that one fucking lesson, it would be like they would be on a different.
And it's good for anything, because it's like, you know, we all get that thing where we know that we want to change something, and then we'll wake up in the middle of the night, we'll think about it for a couple seconds, and we're just like, fuck, man. We're like, why is this bothering me so much? Like, why do I don't have the balls to like go have this conversation? And then you go have the conversation, and it ends up being generally a great conversation, whether it's a yes or no or whatever, you know. It's always okay. We get so caught up in our own shit for no reason. It's like this weird trait in humans. But once
we make a lot of shit up.
Sorry?
We make a lot of shit up in our heads.
Exactly. It's like we don't even know what that's going to be, but it's like we have this idea of what it's going to be, right? Nightmare.
Yeah, 100%. Before we wrap this up, you probably didn't know this, but Emma was a DJ.
Oh yeah, well, we can talk about that too. I still DJ.
Yeah,
and I used to rap myself. I wasn't on your level, but you know, my wife does have I think there's like 3 people in the world that still have a copy of a freestyle I did on like a DJ's mix CD when I was like 17 or 16. So I think we should all start a group.
Let's do it, man. Dude, the Pipeline Profits.
There we go. Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
We can produce some tracks, and then you guys can both rap on them.
I'll send you. I still do music. I still produce. I mostly co-produce now, but cool. I have. I'll send you guys the links to my stuff on Spotify.
All hip hop.
No, it's not all hip hop. But it's me and my wife produce my wife's stuff, and she sings on some of my stuff. So I'm kind of at the point now where I sing too. So I do like hybrid. Anyways, it's cool stuff. I've got a couple different little. I'm just doing it for fun, putting the shit out. So it's good.
I love it, man. I would be very happy to check anything out. I produced for a long time, and I DJed for a long time. I went to school for music production and recording engineering, and then I was like MIA in London, music industry arts.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I was like, shit, man, I'm fucking broke.
Yeah. What a surprise.
I thought getting into real estate would give me more time for DJing.
To do music.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, oh shit, it went the opposite way.
That's crazy. And you DJ too. Yeah, I DJ'd here in May, I guess. It was packed. Actually, I got a video put together for it. I haven't posted up yet. And then I'm playing, there's a festival up here. This will be my third year. My buddies put it on, him and his wife, and it's called the Gaia Fest. So it's the Gaia Wellness Retreat up here, which is a crazy like nature, like spa resort, healing resort, like sound bath, yoga, meditation, and it's a dead zone. So you go in, your phone doesn't work either. So it's like you're really just immersed into what it is. So yeah, I'm playing there next on the Saturday the 26th, just 2 to 3 in the afternoon. But it's a 3.
What do you usually play? Like what kind of?
If I'm playing now, I'm usually playing house.
Yeah, nice.
I play a lot of like tribal tech, and then
all right, we're gonna connect. As soon as we're done here, we'll connect.
Yeah, sure. And then for that, I play a lot of like kind of like new disco stuff as well. So I'll be playing, I think 2, 3 in the afternoon. We'll see, but it'll be beach vibes.
I love it. Well, hey, we might have to throw a realtor. I know like 90% of real estate agents party because
yeah, of course,
because of the job. So we might have to throw down. I'm sure there's 1,000 other realtors out there that DJ. So maybe we can get a nice lineup going.
Throw a little party. Throw a party.
It'll be good.
I'm down. I'll come down with a crew too. That'd be great.
All right, let's do it. I'm actually pretty into it. We'll connect after the podcast. Yeah. But if you're here and you're listening to the podcast still and you're down to party, send us a DM and cast your vote. Let us know the lineup, what you guys want to see, and if we can make it an expense. And you guys can write it off. We expect to see you all there.
Why don't we do the event in Mexico?
Well, we can do. I actually played at Soundset at Playa del Carmen last year. There we go. This year would have been in February. That's crazy. I could set up anything there anytime. Soundset's pretty wild.
All right, there we go. The whole event's been planned on this podcast.
We are brainstorming. And
this before we wrap up, this is exactly what we're talking about. Sometimes you just get an idea and run with it. So if we actually go down with this event, you guys will see it all started right here on Pipeline Profits.
Pipeline Profits, yes.
There we go. Awesome, man. Well, we won't take up any more of your valuable time, but we really, really, really appreciate having you. It was a great conversation. Lots of nuggets, some good, exciting stories with the Polaroids. Lots of tidbits and takeaways, and hopefully a big party planned at the end. So
I love it. Thanks a lot. It was just cool meeting Ryan just only recently, and then getting the call. I was like, absolutely, let's go. This is great.
Yeah. So guys, if you want to hear more from Greg, check out the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast. You can find him on YouTube. Where else can they find you, Greg?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, just as under I am Gregory Campbell.
There we go.
That's what it is. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. It was awesome having you here. Always great to get to know new people and their experiences and life path that have brought them into real estate and success in real estate. We're noticing a trend that partying is always part of it in some way.
People are be like, forget these guys. They just party. They don't work.
People haven't done. You're the first one doing music at your level, so that's super cool. And for all of those of you who are too young to know check BOR, go check it out right now. We're actually going to drop a link in the comments of the podcast, so go check it out right now, and you can see Greg when he was known as MC Pin. He definitely was a different cat than he is now.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll leave you with this. So my name, when I got into weightlifting after being Pin, I became Big Stuff, and that's nice. and that's stayed. When I started doing music again, I'm like, do I do a new name? I'm like, no. I've been Big Stuff since I was 18, 19. So it's like, that's it. So if you look up Big Stuff, all capitals on Spotify, you can hear my stuff there too.
There you go.
Cool.
Yeah. Check them out for real estate. Check them out for music. Greg, we will see you in Playa. It was a pleasure to have you on today, my friend.
Yeah. Thanks again for having me.
All right. See ya.
Cheers, Greg.
Ciao.